shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
I'm Mr. Familoni, and here's to View PTV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching BOPTV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to
All right, another beautiful edition of the Locker Room and Voice of the People Television. I am Jerry Alpelio, and this is where the biggest football stories meet real talk and sharp analysis. And today, we'll take a look at what went down in Morocco. We saw two games over the weekend, talking about the third place fixture between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Pharaohs of Egypt. And of course, the big one was the final between the Senegal Lions and the Atlas Lions of Morocco. It was mad with a lot of controversies and then so much talking points as far as the hosting of the African Cup of Nations by Morocco is concerned. And of course, we'll be diving into the big decisions, the hot talk, and key moments that that did shape the Afcon 2025. And definitely today I'll be having Maiwa joining us virtually. And I believe it was an exciting weekend for all Manchester United fans all around the world as they defeated Manchester City. Not just defeating Man City, but blowing them away from the blast of the whistle. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you never get to miss an episode of The Locker Room on Voice of the People Television. You can also join the conversation by dropping your comments on the talking about the comment section. We'll be taking them as the show progresses, and that's all about you talking about the Voice of the People Television. And of course, while we wait on Maiwa to join us, let's talk about what happened out there in Morocco, Casablanca, and of course it was in Rabat, I beg your pardon, on Sunday, the capital city of Morocco, where Senegal upset 2025 Africa Cup of Nations host Morocco in the final in Rabat on Sunday, claiming a 1-0 win after extra time to secure their second continental title. And the Senegal Lions triumphed after Papa Gaye's goal 4 minutes into the additional 30, though this final will live long in the memory for a bizarre end to regulation time in which the Atlas Lions were awarded a controversial penalty. The West Africans threatened a walk-off, only to return to witness Brahim Diaz and the individual star of the tournament missed the spot kick in almost comical fashion. Maybe he tried to make a fun of the Senegalese with that Paneka, but I don't know what went into the mind of Brahim Diaz to take a penalty such a way. Was it trying to make fun of the Senegalese? I don't know. Or, I don't know, trying to make fun of Benjamin Mendy, the goalkeeper of the Senegal side. And Senegal had the first chance of the match just 5 minutes in, with Papa Gaye's meeting a corner kick and heading goalwards, but Morocco goalkeeper Yassine Bono managed to claw the ball away from the danger zone. And the West Africans enjoyed a lot of possession through the first half, effectively quieting the home crowd and frustrating their opponents. And they had a great scoring opportunity in the 38th minute when Lil Man Ndiaye went free down the right of the attack and sent a low shot towards the bottom corner of the net. But Bono made an amazing save with his outstretched right leg to deflect the ball away for a corner kick. And of course, it was a day of controversies all around that final game. But definitely, you know what happened. Morocco, meanwhile, struggled to bring back the likes of Brahim Diaz and Ismail Saibari into the game, and their only real chance of the first half came in the 41st minute when Abdel Ezzal Zuli found Naif Agad with a cross from the left, but the defender was unable to direct a header on target. Okay, it was a day of controversies out there. We also saw the situation where, talking about the goalkeeper of the Senegalese side, who was more or less having a situation he had to deal with the ball boys taking away his face towel for much of the game, and to an extent even had a fight with a Senegal player. It was mainly same thing they did to talking about Stanley Wabali. They also did same to Benjamin Mendy, and it takes the gloss off the shine that Morocco so far were supposedly one of the best hosts in terms of quality of facilities, but it doesn't stop there. What about hospitality on the part of the Moroccans? They took talking about fan revelry to another level. However, Atlas Lions, though they have a good team, but taking the shine off the team was all they did behind the scene, even behind the pitch, to frustrate the Moroccans, the Senegalese side, who were not happy with the officiating. They were not happy with the way the Moroccans treated them. Even they took it up to the press conference. The players had to walk off the pitch. It was not a good sight. But let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the videos of what happened out there in Morocco, talking about in Rabat, the final between Senegal and Morocco.
In a world where power shapes with every headline,
In a nation full of questions,
in a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
and scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on the locker room. That's just the sides of what one of the things that happened in that game between Morocco and Senegal. It was the final of the African Cup of Nations. It was not a friendly game. It was not a CAF Champions League game. It was not a league game in one hostile environment. It was the final of the African Cup of Nations. It was not a roadside Federations Cup final from one third world country or so on and so forth. It was the final of the African Cup of Nations. We saw ball boys intimidating the goalkeeper. Ball boys are trained to be friendly. Ball boys are trained to be unbiased, are trained to mind their business and do what brought them to the pitch. That's it's the football. And try as much as possible to make sure that the 22 players on the pitch are comfortable. But that is not what the ball boys of the final of the Afcon were doing. They were busy frustrating the players on the pitch, most especially the goalkeepers were the target. They targeted Stanley Nwabali and they went ahead to also target Benjamin Mendy, the goalkeeper of the Senegalese side. They did not stop there. The Senegal players were not happy with the officiating. They left the pitch for some time. It had to take talking about one of the former coaches of the African teams. He has coached Senegal before. Talking about Claude Leroy, the white witch doctor we used to call him. He spoke to talking about the captain, Sadio Mane, and he spoke to his players to come back to the pitch. And lo and behold, they won that game in extra time, and they said the rest is history. Maiwa is now with us. Maiwa, we saw a shameful sight at the Afcon final. We didn't expect such. What we did not see in the group stage, any of the group games that were played, we saw it in the final. It was even worse. The officiating questions were asked. The Senegal players were not happy. The Moroccans took rivalry to the next level. It was pretty sad. Had it been they were not the host nation, maybe, I don't know. But as a host nation, they should have led by example. They should have been good ambassadors of their country. What do you think?
Well, it's always amazing to be here. It's a sad scene. I will start with Nwabali. Nwabali used 6 towels in that particular game. The ball boys kept on stealing the towels, and even the officials, the security guys that were supposed to be stopping that kind of behavior, they were encouraging that behavior. The same thing happened in the final. Look, the same thing, they were stealing the towels of Benjamin Mendy, Edouard Mendy rather, and not until somebody from the Senegalese bench intervened, and they even almost caused commotion. They had to start dragging him away from the field before this underhand play stopped. It's a disgrace. Morocco organized this competition poorly. We've said it. This host must win mentality has to stop, and I will not blame them. They've been saving FIFA's, they've been saving CAF behind for more than 6 occasions now. Even major tournaments is being held in Morocco, different major tournaments, and that is the reason why they have this entitlement mentality, and it's so sad to see there was no fair play. And to be honest with you, I think Senegal finally deserved to win. However, for the coach of Senegal, Malik Tau, I'm highly disappointed. He should have been much more professional. You should not be the one leading, the charge against player leaving the field. And if you go to the call was actually correct. It was actually a penalty. Sir, the guy, I think his name is Sir, if I'm not mistaken. He dragged Brahim Diaz down. And if that was anywhere outside the field, that would have been an infringement, and that was definitely a penalty. But I think CAF, they need to sanction the coach of Senegal. That was, a very disgusting sight to see, ushering the players to, leave the field. The rules are very clear. You have to obey whatever decision the referee makes. You don't have any right to walk away. And what they've done there is a misconduct. Yes, kudos to Sadio Mane from bringing the players back, but the coach of Senegal should bury his head in shame. Now, that aside, let's go to the officiating. The officiating was very, very poor. The goal for Senegal, I would have expected the referee to allow that goal to stand and allow VAR to intervene. The moment the referee blew his whistle, it cut off VAR. They will assume that was not an obvious error. And, for that particular officiating, it was so poor. I didn't see the infringement. It was, two players going at each other, and Ashraf Hakimi fell down. I do not understand the reason why the referee decided to cancel that particular goal. The officiating has been poor. People have been complaining since the tournament so far. There is a whole lot of disgrace that we could see, and it is tied to the fact that Morocco wants to win by all means, and CAF enabled them. And I hope this will be a lesson to CAF that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't become an hostage to a nation, and that is what we've seen so far with what Morocco did throughout this competition.
You don't make yourself an hostage just because one country is bailing you out. It's not like it's that bad. At least Cote d'Ivoire hosted the last Afcon, but we did not see Cote d'Ivoire behave this way because even at a point it was looking like Cote d'Ivoire was going to crash out from the group stage, but somehow they woke up from their slumber and they went on to the final to defeat the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The whole world saw Cote d'Ivoire, their fans, fair play, everything went well as planned. And even before that Afcon, we've seen several hosts. Why should Morocco be any different? Why should they be any different? Imagine South Africa, okay, any country that hosts behaves this way. Will Morocco be able to win any of the Afcon?
Well, this is not the first time they are doing it. And it's synonymous to the North African country. It's not a Morocco thing alone. I will take you back to Tunisia 2004. What happened in that particular tournament? The same thing Morocco did, Tunisia did. Yes, the reason why a lot of people were not speaking about that was because it was not that pronounced. Remember, the Super Eagles of Nigeria lost on penalties to Tunisia in the semi-final, and that semi-final was hell. The fans, the antics of not letting our fans get tickets, giving us very minimal tickets. Morocco did the same thing. When they were playing the penalty, they were laser beamed, they were laser pointed at our players. The officiating was also poor. Tunisia ended up winning that particular tournament. 2006, Morocco, they got to the finals. Yes, they played an Egyptian side. It was North Africa versus North Africa. They knew how to handle each other, but it was the same thing. So it's not a Morocco thing. It's a North African thing. Let me take you back to the qualifiers we went to play in Libya. Look at what they did to our players. They left them for over 12 hours without attending to them and putting them at risk. So it's not a Morocco thing. It's a North African thing. They are very, very hostile. They believe if they host, they must win. Provided we are putting forth money to host this particular competition, it's our birthright to win. And to be honest with you, I do not understand the reason why CAF continues to take African competition to North Africa. To be honest with you, I would rather prefer we host, a lot of people might not agree with this, and it might sound stupid. I would rather prefer we host CAF competition. If no other African country can host it, I would rather we go to maybe Saudi Arabia or somewhere to go and host it, because we have seen European clubs, the last Super Cup that was played, Barcelona and the Real Madrid, they went to Saudi Arabia to play that particular game. You can probably take the CAF, the Afcon, to Saudi Arabia to play. If no other African country will show up in order to curb this kind of behavior. To be honest, I don't think what we have seen so far speaks so well of Africa. I don't think what we have seen so far speaks so well of CAF. And that is the reason why FIFA will continue to interfere. You look at the face of Infantino at the presentation of the trophy. He was not happy. This was a disgrace, and CAF and Morocco contributed to the disgrace.
All right, let's even take it up a little bit, because yes, the ball boys were involved. Even the the protocol guy, the security man who was supposed to at least make sure that things went well, was somehow looking like he was allowing things to go wrong. Then let's look at the CAF Player of the Year, Achraf Hakimi. There was also a video of him, and it being there's no video, seeing him also doing the same thing, you know, and being the fact that one is the number one face of the team, the captain, is the CAF Player of the Year. And to top it all, CAF made a whole mess of it, and they gave him fair player. So how does that represent fair play? I know it makes a joke of the whole tournament. It makes a whole joke of everything. So let's talk about Achraf Hakimi himself. Is he supposed to be involved in such? Is he not supposed to be leading by example?
It's a matter of leading by example. It's in their blood. This is what they do. And to be honest with you, see, the thing is CAF wanted to reward Morocco. And see, Jerry, I'm saying it now. Remember, we're talking about this offer. And I said the next Afcon, the next women Afcon that's going to hold in Morocco, Morocco will win it. You can write it down. They didn't win this one. CAF will find a way to give them that particular trophy. And the reason for that is this. If you continue, remember what Achraf Hakimi did when Ademola Lookman won the African Footballer of the Year. He was saying they already told him he was going to win. And when they didn't announce him, he left angrily with his team. And it was visible that he left angrily, which was not supposed to be so. Now, let's come back to him. He's the current African Footballer of the Year. And he's the one leading the charge, doing something that is wrong to affect the psychology of a team. And CAF, in their wisdom, decided to reward that player with fair play. Please, somebody should make it make sense. And I watched a particular interview before that particular game. Musepe was complaining that FIFA should stop interfering in how things are being run in Africa. That is FIFA saying CAF is not, old and bold enough to run their own affairs? Look at that competition. Look at what happened in the final. Does that show that Afghan the CAF Federation has grown? How do you give Achraf Hakimi the Fair Player Award when we actually saw exactly what he was doing? It does not make any sense. They just want to please Morocco by all means. And like I said earlier, CAF is an hostage of Morocco. And that's just the honest truth.
CAF, hostage of Morocco. Yeah, and Morocco thought that somehow they were going to win this competition at all costs. And that means we must give it to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, able to hold them for 90 minutes, taking it on to penalties. Imagine all the antics. Did you know that Morocco committed more than 20 fouls in that game and not a single yellow card was given to the Moroccan team in the semi-final game against the Super Eagles of Nigeria? So you must give it to the players. In spite of all the antics, they still held their own for 120 minutes of that horrible experience.
Well, the thing is very simple. See, when Comoros made a whole lot of noise about the officiating, a lot of people did not take them serious. And look at the trajectory of officiating surrounding any game Morocco played. To be honest with you, yes, I'm not taking anything away from the Moroccans in their football, and we are seeing the result of the kind of players that are coming through the rank. The same thing goes for Senegal too. But outside that, the officiating helped Morocco to where they got to. The people that were complaining were not insane. You played 7 games, and 7 of the countries you played complained about officiating, and it was so glaring, especially in the final. They were not hiding it. It was so glaring that they wanted to reward Morocco. If not, yes, the penalty, nobody should fault the referee. That was a clear penalty. But before they got to that particular final, there were dubious calls that should not have held. And those dubious calls, they stood. So for me, it's just CAF disgracing themselves. And, it just does not make any sense. If if it were to be Nigeria that was in the same position, we would expect the same thing. We would be feeling entitled too. To be honest with you, we'll be feeling entitled too.
No,
because
that's
if we continue
video.
to invest.
That's the video of Achraf Hakimi.
Yes, that's the video. Achraf Hakimi went there, took the towel and threw it away. You can see the Senegalese guy running and jumping over the billboard to take back the towel. And you know how critical the towel is. You know the glove of the goalkeepers is always very slippery. That is the reason why they have towels behind them, for them to be able to clean their hands very often. Even when the towel is wet, they request for another one and they use it. The same thing they did against Nigeria. Nwabali used 6 towels. 6. Even the one for Nigeria, one of the security protocol guy, the guy in suit, he was part of those people going there and picking the towel and throwing it into the stand. And CAF, in their own wisdom, decided to award somebody from Morocco fair player. How does that make sense? How?
So it was already
as far as I'm concerned,
good or not, they were going to give him whether he deserves it or not.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Musepe is a disgrace. And to be honest with you, it even goes to question sometimes how award is being run. Because I mean, if you're already predetermining who you are going to give a particular award, what's now the essence of you competing? What is the essence? When you've already predetermined that you want to give Achraf Hakimi fair player, and you can see this dirty tactics that is using, and in your own wisdom you feel this is the best person to give. It just does not make any sense. It just does not make any sense. The same thing they did when the penalty issue started, and the ref was going to the VAR. The Moroccans themselves, they were obstructing the referee, which was not supposed to be. The rules are very clear. The two teams should stay away from the referee, stay away from the VAR area. But that did not happen. They were whispering to the guy because they blocked off the Senegalese guys, and they were whispering to the referee. Yes, the call was very correct. However, what they were doing, goes contrary to fair play. And CAF decided to award somebody in Morocco the fair play trophy. It just does not make any sense. This is, hostage. Paying this CAF paying ransom to their kidnapper, and that's what we have seen, and that's what we saw yesterday.
Paying ransom to their kidnapper, that's a big word. Anyway, I just don't know. I think CAF should look at this seriously and then take back the African Cup of Nations, because it looks like it was held hostage for the duration of that final. Let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They went on to claim the bronze medal, and what a bronze medal finish for the Super Eagles, beating the Egyptians via penalties. And I must give it to Stanley Nwabali. He stopped 2 penalties. He decided to pick the best players in the team to stop their penalties and left the rest to go in. He picked Salah and Mamouche, which definitely, if you take a look at the Egyptian team, Mamouche and Salah are the star boys of the team. What a day for Stanley Nwabali in that one.
Well, Mamouche, yes. Salah, not that much. Let's be honest with ourselves. And I'm not trying to throw you, Jerry. I understand the banter of Liverpool and Manchester United. I'm not trying to throw you.
Yeah.
But if we are going to be honest, Salah's performance in this particular tournament, yes, he scored goals, which is the hallmark of a good striker. But his overall performance, is below par based on the standard he has already set. Is below par. Even in that particular game, Salah was practically kept quiet. He was practically kept quiet, and that was the team B of Nigeria. Practically, most of our first team starters did not start in that particular game, and they were still able to keep Mohamed Salah very quiet in that particular game. Nigeria controlling the possession and everything like that, controlling, also dictating the pace of that particular game. So for me, I think, yes, kudos to Nwabali. The 2 biggest stars of the Egyptian side, he decided to save their penalty. But if you look at how Egypt has been playing so far, they were playing effective football. They have not been scintillating. And, effective football can take you so far. If you meet a team that is way better, that is tactically sound, just like the Nigerian team, you will be exposed, and they were exposed. If not for VAR and our players not timing their run properly, we would have probably won that game with 3-4 goals before the end of 90 minutes. But our players were very zealous. They were overzealous. They wanted to score goals, and they couldn't time their run, and they were caught offside, and that was the reason. But kudos to Nwabali, and kudos and congratulations to Erichel. Finally, he gets to win a penalty kick. He has played 3, lost 2, won 1.
Yeah. Kudos to Erichel and the boys doing fairly well for themselves out there. And let's also talk about the new rankings have just been released, where the senior national team of Nigeria moved 12 places in the recently released FIFA ranking, moving from 36th in the world to 26th. And of course, the rise is largely due to their performance at the recently concluded Afcon in Morocco, where they finished as third by beating Egypt 4-2 in the losers final on Saturday. Would you say well-deserved? 26th in the world for a team that's not going to the World Cup?
I think it's well-deserved. 14 goals, play 7 games, score 14 goals. That's average of 2 goals per game. And another thing that they did so well, starting from the games against Mozambique, they didn't concede any goal. In 90 minutes, they didn't concede any goal. That is over 270 minutes without conceding goals. And that is how, that's how improved the team has been. Also, the team has moved away from being an Osimhen FC to becoming a team that can produce scorers from every department of the field. We've seen players score from the defense. We've seen players step up from the midfield and score. We've seen the strikers stepping up and scoring. The only person that has not scored is the goalkeeper. Every other department in that particular team is scoring goals. And this is within the playoff was held in October, and this is within 2 months. Less than 2 months, Erichel turned that team around. So the current position we are in right now is well deserved. The performance is well deserved. And if by any chance, if by luck, FIFA decide to take out DR Congo and decide to punish them because of whatever rules they have broken, we might find ourselves in the World Cup, and we might even better our lot. But to be honest, the 26th position we are holding at the moment is a well-deserved position, and kudos should go to Erichel. Even with all the obstacles, with all the maladministration, he was able to deliver that. I think he has done a very, very good job for the Super Eagles and for the boys so far.
All right, and of course, the rise, definitely no surprise to a lot of Nigerians. Beyond the semi-final defeat to Morocco on penalties, they won 6 of their 7 games at the tournament, including convincing wins over highly ranked Tunisia and Algeria in the group stage and quarterfinal, respectively. Yes, good performance from the boys. You must give it to them. 26 in the world. Definitely Mario agrees that it's well deserved. And let's talk about what happened in the English Premier League over the weekend. We saw Derby Day dominance. Manchester United created so many chances versus Manchester City. They should have won that game by at least 5 goals to 0. But I don't know. For me, I think it was Carrick football that we saw. Somebody say Man United DNA, but I think for me it's Carrick football. I hope Carrick football will stay for that long. Yes, they outplayed Manchester City, who just brought in Semenyo. I thought things were going to turn around, but unfortunately, it looks like that City side needs a new manager. What do you think, Mayo?
Well, I don't think the City side needs a new manager. I think Pep is in a rebuilding process. Remember, Rodri just came back from injury. Rodri is not the usual Rodri. A whole lot of these young boys are just coming up. Kusanov and the rest of them. Allen, the young English guy, because of the lack of fit players, Guardiola tried to play him, and he was very nervous on the ball. Because of him playing, it changed the shape of that defense of Man City, and that exposed them a lot. You could see Bernardo Silva coming back to help out, such that the pressure will not be on the young 21-year-old English defender. Also, he was not that comfortable on the ball. That was his first big test. And, sometimes player came under pressure. It reminds me of the first game of Kusanov. He was just making a whole lot of mistakes, but we have seen Kusanov grow into the Man City team. That has already been addressed. Then for Carrick, what he did was very, very fantastic. If you look at how he was able to arrange the team, out of possession, the team was playing a 4-4-2, 4-man defense, and somebody dropping from the attack to join the midfield to ensure that Man City did not have the opportunity to overload the midfield. The game of Man City is basically overloading the midfield with superior numbers and creating much more and forcing your defenders out and creating spaces behind for the likes of Haaland to operate in. That did not happen in that particular game. Manchester United had less of the ball, but they were much more effective with the 32% possession that they had. They create more chances, they had more shot on goal, and they had less possession. That is the definition of effective football. And I think if Carrick can continue in that light, probably we might see Manchester United, doing so well. We are currently in 5th, and if we can continue this trajectory, I think at the end of the season we might be competing for a space in Europe. Also, the return of Harry Maguire was also a boost in that particular team. I think Harry Maguire has been missed, and him coming back, brought some stability in the defense, and we saw the pairing of Maguire and Martinez yield, the needed result. Fantastic win. The city of Manchester is red over the weekend.
Yeah, I can see you're beaming with a smile. You're still smiling. You're still excited. Yeah. It's a good way to start for Michael Carrick, and of course, it was a big test for his team. Everybody was looking forward to see what's going to happen, whether there was going to be a breath of fresh air, or I don't know whether Guardiola decided to let it be that way so that Carrick will feel comfortable and we'll start seeing the loopholes when they eventually start. Then for us now, I don't know the plan. Against Nottingham Forest, we would have expected them to at least get this one and put them themselves in a good spot, giving themselves a good daylight and darkness space between them and City. But it looks like 7 points might not be enough for an Arsenal side who should be going for the title. Do you think that Arsenal is overrated as far as the title bidders is concerned? It's just because Man City is not doing the job. That is why Arsenal is still on top of the table.
The reason why Arsenal is still leading is because Man City, they've dropped in form. They've not been consistent with their performance. Games that they were supposed to win, they've not been winning those games. Remember, this is the second game that Man City withdraw. If they had won those games, that would have been 3 points between them and Arsenal. As far as I'm concerned, I've said it consistently until the last game of the season, and Arsenal is leading with 4 points. That is when I would believe Arsenal will win the league. When you are supposed to be the champion, when you are playing to be the champion, anytime your closest rival slip up, you take that opportunity, you take the chance, and you go a step further ahead of them. 2 times Man City has slipped. 2 times Arsenal has decided to mess up, and we are seeing the results. How do you explain Arsenal not being 10, 11 points ahead of Man City, a team that's not playing so well? I remember when Man City gets their groove, they can go 19 games unbeaten, and can that Arsenal team, go 19 games unbeaten when they are drawing the likes of Nottingham Forest, a team that has not been consistent with their performance. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on with Arsenal. I think they are about to bottle it again. If care is not taken, Arteta might not win this league.
Care is not taken, Arteta might not win this league. And let's talk about the table where Villa's title bid was rocked by Everton loss. Newcastle United, I don't know what's happening. They were also held by Wolves. What's happening to Aston Villa? When they see us now, they know how to play football. But how come they're losing to Everton?
Aston Villa are pretenders, to be honest with you. I think the best they will get is probably a bet for a spot in Europe. But for contenders, for title contenders, they are not there. I think they are just pretenders. Games that you expect them to win, those are the games that they end up messing up. Games that you expect them to do so well, those are the games that that they will. Those are the games they will come out and play so well and win. So for me, it's just they call it initial ground. It's just IGG. They are not title contenders in any way. They are just title pretenders. So I don't expect Aston Villa to be in the title race for a very long time. I think the best position they will be in is probably maybe an Europa League spot, or probably maybe even a Champions League spot, depending on what a Liverpool or a Manchester United does or even a Chelsea does in that particular position. Title race, they are not there. For Newcastle, it is the inconsistency again. What they are consistent in doing is being inconsistent. They are consistent in being inconsistent. For me personally, I think it's high time the Newcastle faithful depart way with Eddie Howe. I don't think Eddie Howe, yes, he was able to deliver, a cup for them last season. However, in the league, the form of the league has not been consistent, and this has been happening over the course of 3 years. He has been there for over 4 years now, and the result seems to be the same. They win a couple, they draw a couple, they lose a couple. You don't know the kind of Newcastle you will get on any given day. As for me, I think the amount of money they have spent so far, the result Eddie Howe has put forward so far in terms for Newcastle does not justify the amount they have spent. If they want to be title contenders, if they want to have a shouting chance at winning the EPL, I think Eddie Howe is not the man. I don't think he has it in him to be able to win them the EPL.
All right, you don't think he has what it takes, and that means they might be looking for a new manager, or they sink and swim with the man. But let's look at Arne Slot at Liverpool. They played a draw against Burnley. Ordinarily, Burnley should be a team Liverpool should be defeating at Anfield. 5 wins in 17 games. That's quite poor.
What happened last season was called beginner's luck. He had beginner's luck, and that was the reason why he won. Now, and also remember, majority of those players were not his player. Alexander Arnold is no longer there. Some of the players that played last season, they were no longer there. And now the players that are supposed to bring in, Maguire is not coming to Man City anymore. That means the defensive problem, the defensive issue continues. Because as far as I'm concerned, Van Dijk and Konate, they are not the same Van Dijk and Konate of 3 years ago or of even last season. They have dropped in form. Also, the coach seems to be clueless. How do you play a Burnley side and end up drawing that particular game? How do you explain it? And this is coming from a supposed, title champions. They're supposed to be defending the title, but the performance on the field of play, does not show. There's no show that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, I think Arne Slot is confused. I think what he did last season, what he achieved last season, was built for him by Jurgen Klopp. This season, he has brought in his own players. He has spent over £500 million. And if you have spent over £500 million, you should not be competing with a lackluster Manchester United for the 5th position. That is how terrible Liverpool is at the moment.
All right, terrible how Liverpool is at the moment. Okay, time really fast, but we'll have to wrap it up here. Big thanks, Maiwa, for being a part of the show. And I think, I hope Madam took the loss very well. Talking about Man City losing to Manchester United. And of course, I hope you didn't overdo the celebration.
Well, I waited till dinner was served before I started trolling. I was sympathizing with her while dinner was being cooked. But when I finished eating, I started the trolling.
All right, this is what it is. So I think you wanted to slightly say that you're going to finish above Liverpool eventually, but you were careful when you said that. Yeah, definitely. You're very careful when you're saying that they're going to do it this season. But it is where I understood where we're coming from. All right.
No, but with the performance, Man U is going to finish ahead of Liverpool.
How?
That's the truth. See, look at how Liverpool has been playing so far.
This is
it's not a blip. No, even the games you have won so far, how many games have you won convincingly since the losing streak started. And this is not trolling. This is me being factual. How many games have you won convincingly?
You know, Liverpool had injuries in their last few games. That's why. So now that Kitike is back, and hopefully Isak joins again, then Florian Wirtz is on fire. It's been
Salah is also back now.
Salah is back, so definitely don't worry. The firepower is going to come again. At least the attack is going to get the fresh firepower it deserves. Don't worry. All right, all the best.
Well, the trophy of the season is Liverpool above Manchester United. So I will, if you do that, maybe you have won the EPL.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good one. And of course, big thanks to the guys behind the scene making sure the program is to your delight. Talking about the likes of Sam, Shegun, Hassan, and of course, Paul. My name is Jerry Apelehai, saying thanks for being a part of the show. We'll meet again, and up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Stay tuned.